Hello and welcome to this new series of tutorial videos which is called Electronic Music Production with Ableton Live. This is the level 1 series of tutorials. So this basically, the level 1 stuff assumes you're coming to Ableton Live completely as a complete beginner. Okay, so you've never used it before, you might have heard about it, and you're wanting to sort of learn the basics and get into it and get started to do a bit of music production. So this first section, section A, is going to be just sort of an introduction and understanding the interface. I'm going to try and keep these videos between sort of 10 and 15 minutes each, hopefully. Sometimes they may be longer, sometimes they may be shorter, but just so they're not too unmanageable to watch each time. Okay, so let's get stuck into it. So Ableton Live is a DAW, a DAW, which stands for Digital Audio Workstation. So it basically means we can use our computer like a recording studio to make songs and produce music and so on. Several well-known DAWs available. You've got Logic, Cubase, Pro Tools, GarageBand. They basically all do the same sort of thing. They all have their own features, their own unique selling point. Ableton Live is probably the most different of all of them, mainly because it has two different views, whereas pretty much all the other DAWs, apart from one called Bitwig Studio, which is very, very similar to Ableton Live, they only have one view. So the normal view you get, I'm just going to close this down for a second there, would look like this. Okay, and this is called our arrangement view, which if you've used any other kind of DAW will look pretty familiar to you. The other view we have is called session view, all right, which looks like this, which won't look familiar if you've never used Ableton Live, and this is where it can start to get a little bit confusing. So let's first of all just have a look at how we switch between the two views and a few basic controls, etc. So there's two ways we can switch between the two views. One is using the tab key, the tab button on your computer keyboard, which is usually over on the left hand side. So if we press the tab button, which I will press now, see we just toggle between those two views. Okay, fairly straightforward. The other way is to use these buttons here, which we can click on with our mouse. So if you look up here, we'll see two circles with lines in. One with vertical lines and one with horizontal lines, and these basically represent the way the tracks are laid out in each view. So in arrangement view, let's just switch over to that. Okay, our tracks are laid out horizontally. Okay, we're going from left to right like that, and so that's that view. If we click on this one, it takes us over to session view, and our tracks are kind of laid out vertically like this. The tracks sort of go from top to bottom like that. Okay, rather than in arrangement view where we kind of work things from left to right. So these lines here represent the different views. So horizontal for arrangement view, going across like that is the way they work, and then vertically for session view. So session view is really good for live performance, which is something we will look at in later videos, but also for working out ideas for songs. And then arrangement view, basically as it says, is where you would then arrange your song. You can actually detach these screens if you've got two monitors or two screens. You can have them both open at the same time. But I would think most people just work on one screen, so it's easy enough to switch between the two using either of those two methods we've just looked at. So yeah, session view, which is the one we're looking at now, is the main unique feature of Ableton Live. So this is a blank project, a completely new project, and I think the way mine's set up here is it loads with one audio track and one MIDI track. Yours might be slightly different. You might have two audio and two MIDI. To start you off, you can change the default settings of what loads in, but we won't look at that at this stage. So we'll sort of get into the details, a bit more of differences between audio and MIDI tracks and so on when we get a bit further down the line. So in each track you can see we've got these little slots here. Let's just sort of scroll down. I'm just using my up and down arrow keys on the keyboard to go through these, so we can go left and right and we can go up and down. So these are called clip slots. Okay? These are all empty, so there's nothing in here at the moment. You can see they're stacked on top of each other when we're in session view, and these can contain audio information in audio tracks and MIDI information in MIDI tracks. So let's just get something in here and get something playing. So first thing we're going to do, if we look at this triangle here, we're going to click on this, and this is going to open our browser window, and this is all the content we've got within Ableton Live, and this is going to look fairly different on yours. It depends on what version of Live you're using and what it's shipped with, and if you've got any external plugins and so on in there. We're going to go down to packs, which is down here, and we're going to be using this pack, the Loop Masters Mixtape, which you can get free. It's a great pack. There's a lot of content in it. If you just go to ableton.com and navigate to the packs section, you can download that for free. I'll try and put a link to that in the description of the video so you can get it, but you want to make sure you get that pack. Get all the free ones. There are a few free ones there that will give you a bit of extra content, but this one we're going to be we will use quite a bit. So we click on packs, and then as I say, we're navigating down to our Loop Masters Mixtape. We're going to click on the triangle next to that to open up that folder. I'm just going to close that for a second, and then we're going to go to the clips folder, and we're going to open that, and this is all the content within our clips folder. So we're going to open up just this top one, this abstract down tempo folder, and all of these. So we've got a big list of these. There's loads of them. Okay. Any of these that end in ALC at the end, this bit here, okay, these are all our audio clips, also known as loops. They're short recorded pieces of audio, whatever audio is, audio that are designed to loop round and round and play it once. So if we click on that, if we click on it once, you'll say it sort of partly loads it, and if you look down here, it says click to preview. So we can click it again. Okay, and it will preview that clip for us. So we can, before we bring anything into our project, we can preview it over here and see if it's what we want. To get the preview, you've got to make sure this little headphone icon here is turned on. If that's grayed out and I click on that, let's do 2 quick clips on it. Okay, if that's turned off, okay, we're not going to hear anything. So just make sure that is blue. Now what you got to watch out for is that you don't do a double click on the clip to preview it. As you can see, I just did a double click on this one and it's loaded it in here, which we don't want. So basically the best way to do it is click on it once and then click down here to preview it. Okay, now that's going to kind of keep playing. If you want to just stop it playing, just click on that bit up at the top there. If you're finding your preview is a bit too loud, you can adjust the volume of the preview with this dial down here. So if I just click on that one again, let's preview it. Ooh, stopped it playing. Okay, so we can adjust the volume of the preview over here. That will also adjust the volume of the metronome when we get into that. If you find your metronome's a bit loud or indeed a bit quiet, you can adjust the volume with that. Down there, which is over on the master track down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to just grab hold of this clip and we're going to put it in this this clip slot here on the audio track. So we're just going to grab it, so left click, grab hold of it, drag it in and drop it in that first available empty slot there. So we can see we have a play button here now. This is actually in Ableton Live language is called a launch button. So we don't actually play clips, it's always referred to as launching a clip. So if I play that and launch that clip, okay, that is going to play that clip. Now you'll notice that that's playing considerably faster than when we previewed it over here. That's because down here you can see it actually was recorded, the original recording was at 65 BPM, so 65 beats per minute. We're actually playing it back, if you look up here, this is our master tempo, we're playing it back at 126 beats per minute, which is almost twice as fast as the original. But it sounds okay because it's been properly, what's called properly warped. Okay, and more on that later, and that will make sense when we go through looking at warping and so on. So if we want to actually see what the audio looks like, 2 ways of doing it. We can double click on the clip here, and it's going to open this window, our clip view window down at the bottom here. The other way of opening it, you see I've just closed it there, is to click on this triangle down here, and that's going to open up our clip view window, and that gives this clip its visual representation now as a waveform. So if I just play that, and you'll see it will keep looping round and round. This is just going to basically keep looping until we tell it to stop. Okay, so as mentioned previously, this clip will play at whatever speed we set our master tempo at. Okay, so we can speed it up and slow it down, and it will always sort of stay what's called on beat. It will stay in time. If we click these two dots here, that's going to turn our metronome on. When I now press play, I'm not going to play that bit, I'm just going to play here. It's going to turn it up a little bit. Over here. Okay, you can hear the metronome playing. So the metronome counts what are called quarter notes. So the way music works is it's divided up into bars, and each bar usually has, most of the time, 4 beats in it. So this is counting quarter notes, and it represents those 4 beats. So the higher beep at the beginning is beat 1, and then 2, 3 and 4 are the lower beeps. So that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay. And again, there's going to be another video series coming up on a bit of music theory and all of that. So keep an eye out for that, and all of these video series will kind of work hand in hand with each other. So I was just going to put that on just so you can hear how that goes in time with this clip. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if I slow that down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, speed it up. Turn that off for a second. Okay, so you can hear how we can speed up and slow down those clips without them changing in pitch, which is a really great feature of Ableton Live. You may have noticed 2 ways of stopping and starting the clip. We're going to go into this a little bit more detail in later sessions, but obviously to launch it, we just click the play button here. If we want to stop it, we can click up here. Okay, this is what's got our master transport section. So we have play, stop and record. That's all you need to know about for now. Or if I'm playing that, we can stop it down here with this stop button as well. So I'm just going to get a little bit more space. Any of these empty clips with a stop button in will stop it. There are other ways of doing it, again, to toggle clips on and off, which we will look at later. For now, just need to know that. The other way as well, to start and stop, let's just get it going, is the space bar on your computer keyboard. So if I just hit the space bar now, okay, that's going to start and stop this play button here, our master transport play button. Coming up in the next video, I'll talk a little bit more about how all of this works. But that's it for now, okay, because like I said, I'm going to try and keep these videos as short as possible. So that's sort of part 1. In the next part, we're going to look at the arrangement and session view in a little bit more detail and how they interact with each other. So if you've got any questions or comments on this one, please leave them in the box below, and I will do my best to answer all of those. For now, before the next lesson comes on, what I would do is just experiment with whatever packs you've got. Say, go to the Ableton website, get some of those packs downloaded, and then just experiment with a few different clips, you know, put a few in, a few extra, actually don't put any extra tracks in, we're going to look at that later. Just put a few different ones in here. So just an example, let's say you want to put a bass part in. Okay. Okay, so just experiment with individual clips at the moment. What you'll find is, or the way Ableton Live works, is you can only play one clip at a time on the same track. So if that one's playing and I want to play this one, okay, it's going to stop that other one playing. Okay, to have them playing at the same time, we would need to put them on different tracks, which is going to come up in a later session. The other thing just to think about before we finish this one, sorry, is this thing here. This is what's called our global quantization. I generally always leave this on 1 bar. This basically means if this clip is playing, and I click play on this one on say beat 2, it's going to wait until it gets round to the next beat 1 to start playing, and that keeps everything nice and in time starting on beat 1. So if I just show you what I mean, so as I'm counting through this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to click this on beat 2 of a bar, and you'll see it won't start until beat 1 of the next one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so very, very useful thing. And I mean, I always leave it on 1 bar. It's just it works for me that way. You can change it for different bar numbers of bars and beats and so on, but for now, let's just leave that on beat 1. Let's just talk very briefly about this bit here. This is our bars, beats, and 16th notes. Okay, so you'll see every time this gets to 4, let's go from this way. Every time this gets to 4, that one's going to go up a number. Every time that one gets to 4, that one's going to go up a number. So our first bar, 1, 2, 3, 4. Second bar, 1, 2. Third bar, 1, 2, 3. Fourth bar, 1, 2. Okay, so again, just gives us a bit of useful feedback information as to what bar we're on. Okay, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video where, as mentioned previously, we're going to look in more detail at the arrangement and session view. Thanks for watching. Bye.